For weeks, something had felt off. It wasn't one big thing, but 1,000 tiny paper cuts to our marriage. Sarah, my wife, my high school sweetheart, was drifting away. The easy laughter that used to fill our home had been replaced by a quiet tension. Her phone, once left casually on the counter, was now glued to her hand, screen down. When I'd ask what was wrong, she'd just sigh, "I'm just tired, Mark. Work has been stressful." But I knew it was more than that. The light in her eyes, the one that used to shine just for me, had dimmed. I tried everything I could think of. I planned date nights, cooked her favorite meals, suggested a weekend getaway. Each attempt was met with a polite but firm no, or a vague excuse. It felt like I was talking to a polite stranger, not the woman I had shared my life with for the past decade. The distance grew into a chasm, and my mind started to fill in the blanks with my deepest fears. Was she seeing someone else? The thought was a venomous whisper that coiled around my heart, squeezing it tight. I didn't want to believe it, but the signs were becoming impossible to ignore. She started working late more often. There were sudden girls' nights with friends I'd never heard her mention before. I'd call her, and the phone would go straight to voicemail. Hours later, a text would pop up. "Sorry, battery died. Fun night." But the explanation felt hollow, rehearsed. The trust we had built over years was crumbling, brick by brick, and I was watching it happen, powerless to stop it. I felt a desperation I'd never known. I had to know the truth, no matter how much it might hurt. My love for her was turning into a desperate, painful obsession. Then came that Tuesday. The rain was relentless, hammering against the windows like tiny fists. Sarah got a text, glanced at it, and her face went pale. "I have to go out," she said, her voice strained. "It's an emergency with my sister." My sister-in-law, Jessica, lived 3 states away. An emergency? It was possible, but the timing felt too convenient, too scripted. "Is everything okay? Should I come with you?" I asked, my heart pounding. No, I've got it," she said, grabbing her keys and raincoat, avoiding my eyes. "I'll be back late. Don't wait up." And just like that, she was gone, leaving me alone with the storm inside my head and the one raging outside. That was the moment I broke. I couldn't sit and wonder anymore. I needed to see for myself. I grabbed my own jacket, my mind a blur of hurt and suspicion. I got in my car, my hands slick with sweat on the steering wheel. I told myself I was being crazy, that I was a terrible husband for not trusting her. But another, louder voice screamed that I was a fool for ignoring my gut. I started driving, not knowing where I was going, just following the vague direction she had taken. The rain blurred the streetlights into long, weeping streaks of color, mirroring the tears I refused to let fall. I drove for about 20 minutes, my mind racing through every worst-case scenario. I was about to give up, to turn around and go home to my empty house and wallow in my misery. But then I saw her car. It was parked outside a small, dimly lit bistro on the other side of town, a place we'd never been to. My breath caught in my throat. This wasn't the way to the airport or the bus station. This wasn't an emergency. Through the rain-streaked window of the bistro, I could see her. And she wasn't alone. She was sitting at a small table, leaning in close to a man. I didn't recognize him. He was handsome, I guess, in a generic way. He was laughing at something she said, and then he reached across the table and covered her hand with his. Sarah didn't pull away. Instead, she smiled. It was a genuine, radiant smile, the one I hadn't seen in months, the one I missed more than anything. Seeing that smile directed at another man felt like a physical blow. It knocked the air from my lungs. The world tilted on its axis, and everything went numb. I sat there in my car, rain pounding on the roof, just watching them. It was like watching a movie of my life falling apart. They looked so comfortable, so familiar with each other. The way he looked at her, the way she blushed. It was all there. The intimacy, the connection. the spark that had vanished from our marriage. It was all right there, in a cheap bistro on a rainy Tuesday night, with another man. I felt a cold, hard knot of certainty form in my stomach. This was it. This was the reason for the distance, the late nights, the secrets. My worst fears weren't just fears, they were my reality. I couldn't watch anymore. I drove home in a daze, the journey a complete blank. I stumbled into our house, the house we had made a home, and everything looked foreign. The photos on the wall of us smiling on our wedding day, on vacations, felt like relics from another life. Was any of it real? I collapsed onto the sofa, the silence of the house deafening. I didn't know what to do. Should I confront her? Should I pack a bag and leave? The love I had for her was at war with the profound betrayal I was feeling. The woman I had promised to love forever had shattered my world, and I didn't know how to pick up the pieces. Hours later, I heard her key in the lock. I didn't move. I just sat there in the dark. She walked in, shaking the rain from her coat. "Mark, you're still up?" she asked, her voice soft. The hypocrisy of it was staggering. I stood up and turned on the light. The moment she saw my face, she knew. The color drained from hers. "What's wrong?" she whispered, though her eyes were filled with guilt. "I know, Sarah," I said, my voice barely a croak. "I know about the bistro. I saw you." The silence that followed was heavier than any storm. Her carefully constructed world of lies had come crashing down, and ours was about to come down with it. The confession that followed was a torrent of tears and whispered apologies. His name was Daniel. He was a colleague from a project she'd been working on. It started as a friendship, a sympathetic ear when she was feeling stressed. But it had grown into something more. She said she was confused, that she felt lost, and that he made her feel seen again. Each word was another twist of the knife. She swore it hadn't gone as far as I imagined, but it didn't matter. The betrayal wasn't just physical, it was emotional. She had given a piece of her heart, a piece that was supposed to be mine, to someone else. We talked for hours, until the sun came up, painting the sky in shades of gray. There was no shouting, no screaming, just a raw, painful honesty that had been missing for so long. She told me she had ended it with him that night at the bistro. She said she realized what she was about to lose and that it terrified her. She begged me for another chance, for a chance to fix the mess she had made, to earn back my trust. I looked at her, the woman I loved, her face stained with tears, and I was torn. Could we come back from this? Could I ever look at her again without seeing her with him? The path forward wasn't easy. It was filled with difficult conversations, therapy sessions, and moments where the anger and hurt felt overwhelming. There were days I wanted to walk away, to start over somewhere new where the memories couldn't find me. But underneath the pain, a tiny flicker of the love we once had remained. I saw the genuine remorse in her eyes, and the effort she was putting in to reconnect with me, to rebuild what she had broken. It was a slow, painful process of learning to trust again, of learning to forgive. It's been a year since that rainy night. Our marriage isn't the same as it was before. It's different. It's stronger in some ways, more fragile in others. We communicate more now. We're more honest about our feelings, our fears, our needs. We learned the hard way that love isn't just about the good times. It's about surviving the storms together. The scar is still there, a reminder of the pain we went through. But it's also a reminder that we chose to fight for our love, to rebuild from the rubble. Sometimes you have to go through the darkest night to truly appreciate the morning light. Thank you for listening to my story. If you've ever been through something similar, know that you're not alone, and healing is possible, whatever that looks like for you. If you found this story meaningful, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more content. It really helps us out. Thank you again, and take care.